Hello, dear friends. This is your weekly astrology horoscope. The upcoming week is interesting mostly because we have two ingressions. Two planets are changing signs, Mars and Mercury. And it's all happening on Tuesday. So Tuesday is one of the most active days during this week. So we will talk about this. And also the weekend. We have some exact aspects on Saturday and Sunday. So I think that those are like the most important days of the week. And especially the ingression of Mars is quite important because Mars changes signs once in 2 months approximately. And right now Mars is moving into a weak sign position, this position of Taurus. So, from one side, it's time to slow down a little bit. Whatever we are doing, whatever we are focusing on, we need to become more practical, pragmatic, and also focused on the actual result we are pursuing. Mars in Aries, this is the position where Mars was for the past, let's say, 2 months, is very good with the impulse. Go get it, go do it. This is Mars in Aries. But Mars in Aries isn't necessarily focused on the outcome and also on considering, is it worth the effort? Now we might need to look at things differently after Tuesday when Mars moves to Taurus. And it's actually a pretty good idea to ask yourself, whatever you want to do, is it worth it? Is it worth your effort, your time, your energy? And we need to be more efficient with our energy and what we invested in. So slowing down, becoming more practical, and it is possible also that there could be some kind of, hesitation or even procrastination, if that's something which, you are experiencing also in your life. Mars in Taurus may trigger such patterns as well. So the best we can do is to try to be as grounded as possible. And again, to focus on the outcome. Very important. The other ingression I already mentioned is Mercury, which is moving to Cancer. And Mercury represents how we communicate, how we connect to other people. It's very important also for our ideas and overall the thinking process. So Mercury is also moving out of Gemini, the sign of rulership, into Cancer. Overall, kind of average position for Mercury. So we might also be kind of less logical and analytical, and instead we might focus more on creative work, creative ideas, to focus more on our imagination and fantasy and the intuition part. So interesting that both of the planets are moving out of very strong positions. So Mars in Aries, Mercury in Gemini, to, let's say, different positions which are not that strong. So we need to change our approach. We need to change the way we plan things and also the way we execute them. And it's also interesting that on Tuesday, while the two planets move to the new signs, they are at the same time connected. They have a sextile. So this is a positive connection, and it can help us also to, in a new way, plan something and then take some action. Again, the approach should be different. So we need to use our intuition and creativity, but also find, the practical steps that would lead us to wherever we want to go. So that's an interesting combination. And it seems like I'm starting with Tuesday, this weekly horoscope. So let's go with this. The last thing about Tuesday is that the moon is in Virgo, which also brings the need for some focus on the important things, our work, maybe even obligations, and to be as organized as possible. Now let's take a step back and look at Monday. Monday is honestly not that, turbulent or significant. We have the moon in Virgo, which is very positive for focusing on details, on practical work, on obligations. And there is a square with Venus, so be careful in personal communication or especially in relationships. And on the other side, there is a trine with Uranus, which means that if we are trying something different, if we are experimenting a little bit, innovating something, that can be much better. Okay, but one thing to consider also about Monday is that both Mercury and Mars will be at critical degrees at the very end of the signs they're in. So this might decrease our productivity. So don't force yourself too much. Focus on more routine type of tasks on Monday. And Tuesday is, again, still a time of transition. So it's kind of like, the time to adapt to something new and like a new focus and, different actions. Now, moving to Wednesday. Minor challenging aspect between Mercury and Uranus, which can bring some kind of surprises, something unexpected, especially in communication with other people, or when it comes to some kind of plans we might have made. And also, this is the time to allow yourself to think differently and try something new. In communication, things might be a little bit kind of sharp, it might be more difficult to make compromises, or, we need to balance the situation. And speaking of balance, not Venus, it's the moon being in the Venus sign, the moon in Libra. From one side would kind of like bring the need to find this balance. The question is, can we? So from one side, we may try to, keep the harmony, the balance, keep it kind and polite. But at the same time, something might push us, but I want something different, or I want to say it directly, or this is not fair, or whatever. So on Wednesday, the communication can be especially interesting. On Thursday, we have some similar energies, but more harmonious for sure. So the moon is still in Libra, the focus on finding the balance and the harmony and negotiating, still with us. But this time we have Venus in a positive aspect with Uranus, not a stressful aspect. So again, some kind of surprises, but they may feel more comfortable. Also exciting, pleasant, and we can try something new. We can meet someone for dating. This can be a great day, and also for making some kind of nice gesture or surprise for your partner. That's also wonderful. Next Friday is much more intense. So on Thursday we have some kind of lightness and it's kind of smoother, but on Friday the moon is in Scorpio, so the intensity is much higher, the possible tension, and here we need to be especially careful because the moon will have an opposition with Mars. So the chance for some kind of confrontation, arguments, or like too aggressive competition is, absolutely possible. So be aware of that. On the other side, the moon will have a nice aspect with Mercury. So if we try to communicate, whatever the problem is and explain, that might be much better than if we go straight into, the confrontations, or to take the action, or to do something, to just, upset the other person. So Friday is intense, but could be productive day, especially if we are passionate about something and committed and dedicated. Next, we will talk about Saturday. Saturday is also intense because the moon is still in Scorpio. So the emotional atmosphere can be more difficult. People may take things more personally, and overall, it's not easy to relax. When the moon is in Scorpio, unless we are practicing, of course, some energy practices or yoga, or we really know how to work with our energy, that's a different story. But for most people, and overall in the atmosphere around us, we may notice some kind of tension. Also Saturday, Mercury has a square with Jupiter, which can bring some kind of frustration when it comes to our plans and goals. And it might be a nice time to actually reconsider, change our priorities, and look at things from a different perspective. For some kind of educational work or processes, this can be a positive time, but it will require effort and change. So it's not just smooth and easy. Mercury has another challenging aspect, 2.5 with Saturn, which can also make the communication more problematic. People may not express exactly what they think, or they may think they are, but the other person may take it the wrong way. So overall, it's not a nice day for communication, for clarifying things, that would not work in a very smooth and easy way, probably. And the positive supportive aspect for Saturday is a quintile between Venus and Jupiter. So instead of focusing on the mind, the Mercury stuff, we see that we have problems there. But the Venus stuff seem much more positive. So we should prioritize more our emotions, our feelings, our desires, relationships. That can work much better on Saturday. And finally, Sunday is like a nice breeze that comes and, takes all the tension away. First of all, the moon would be in Sagittarius, so we can feel optimistic, enthusiastic, inspired, excited, much more open to other people. And also the sun has a sextile with Uranus. So some positive changes, and this may feel like having more freedom and being able to enjoy it, and allowing yourself to move forward towards something new and exciting. So Sunday seems like a very, very interesting day. Plus we have two creative aspects, the Sun and Saturn, which can be about changing some kind of rules or principles that we are usually committed to. And Venus also has an aspect with Pluto, which can bring more passion, deeper emotions, some kind of attachment, and some kind of emotional transformations. So Sunday seems like, a very nice day that can bring freedom, liberation, and excitement. So that's what we can expect during next week. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will see you very soon.